Regarding the lab faculty. Thanks. So here we have just already revised. So now let me not waste time in revision. Let us apply abstraction. And as I had said, we are going to apply this abstraction to shapes example. We will write it completely. So those who want to do the coding along with me, be ready. Open your STS Eclipse IDE and keep it ready. First, I will discuss and then we will solve. Okay, so focus. I'm not jumping into implementation yet. We are talking about the abstraction requirement and the implementation. So we are talking about the shape scenario. So here, which is the class, which is going to be the super class, and what subclasses we are having? Bounded shape is going to be the superclass, extended by actually bounded shapes, circle, rectangle, triangle, square. You can add multiple. I'm just going to take 2-3 examples. So I hope everyone is clear. So here, in bounded shape, you have whatever is the common feature. So when you say circle, where you can always think of a circle with her origin, center. So that is your XY coordinate. Rectangle, if you want to draw, if you are given, I'm talking in geometry, not in Java. Top left corner and width and height you can define. So XY are the common data members. So where they should be declared? In the shape or in circle or in rectangle? Answer fast. Of course, common functionality, push it to the superclass. Then I want to find out the information about the shape. So there will be a toString which will give the details about the XY. But when you talk about circle, it's a simple geometrical things. So circle is a bounded shape with additional radius. So if anyone gives you center, origin and the radius, you should be able to draw the circle. So here again for circle, area computation method, and this toString. Tell me, when you say return toString, what all it should return? X, Y, radius, all of above, none of above. What should be the circle's toString containing? Answer is complete state, X, Y, and radius. But X and Y, you cannot access it from circle. So how will you manage it? Super.toString. And this will be calling the bounded shapes toString. Rectangle, very similar. So the moment you say area is a common functionality, where should you define it? Where should you add it? In the common superclass. To reduce number of downcastings. I've explained all the concepts, so I'm not going to waste time. We're going to do the hands-on now. So here, when you talk about bounded shape area, which of the following you would like to supply? Declaration, definition, both or neither. In the bounded shape for area, what is it you would like to define? Only the method declaration, which is what is to be done. And if you want to just add the declaration, which is the keyword we are going to add for this area function, area method, abstract. But the moment you make the method abstract, what has to be made? This bounded shape has to be declared abstract. Otherwise, compiler error. And abstract superclass can be extended by concrete subclasses. So are the inputs clear? Everyone is clear with the inputs? I'm going to send you this design diagram. So here, public abstract class bounded shape, which will be the two data members XY, a parameterized constructor with 2 arguments, a toString which returns X and Y, its own state. And the area method, since it is the abstract, we are declaring the class as an abstract one. And then you can define the multiple concrete subclasses. Concrete means non-abstract. So bounded shape, additional data member, radius. We will have a parameterized constructor, which will... yourself, guys. Madan, unmute yourself. Immediate, unmute yourself, please. Don't unmute yourself. Okay. So here, the bounded shape has the x, y, and radius. But x and y are tightly encapsulated here. So you know now super calling constructors and everything. So we will have super xy, which will initial, the control will go to what? Parent class constructor. That is what I was asking you. Can abstract class still contain a constructor? Yes. When, for or rather for which purpose? To initialize its own private data members. So you will understand the statement of each word when you apply it to the requirement. So here again we'll further override the toString, which we will call super toString plus additional detail of radius we will return. And now when I'm sitting in a circle class, do I have the concrete definition? Do we know how to compute the area? Of course, yes. So how to tell compiler that whatever follows is the overriding form from the super type at override annotation. So here, what are the rules of method overriding? Access specifier cannot be restricted. The return type can be same or wider, but that same or wider, I'm so sorry, same or subtype, I meant, my mistake. But for primitive types, there's no subtype concept, so double itself. And method name and the argument list has to be the same. And what will be the functionality here? The formula pi r square, that is from the for the circle class. And in a very similar manner, rectangle means in addition to top left x and y, top left corner, we will be defining width and height. We'll be having the constructor, toString, and the area. And once you do that, I've not written the tester, then we will write the tester to test the functionality. So I'm sending you this. Keep this with you, abstraction scenario, and we'll get started. We'll get started with coding. I've sent you this abstraction scenario. So open your Eclipse. Spring STS is nothing but a Eclipse ID with a Spring plugin. So it is the same. Okay. So now guys, though I'm giving you the instruction, those who are working with me. So if you say, if I'm going to call it as day 6.1, you name it as yesterday, one of you were having problems with the project names. She was mixed up in the projects. So you call it as day 6.1 lab. So give the extension of a lab every time so that there won't be any confusion between my project and your project. Okay, so here I'm starting. The first one of today, 6.1, finish, don't create. Okay, now what should I start with? Abstract superclass or concrete subclass? What should be the starting point? Of course, abstract superclass, right? So here, let's start declaring. So I'm creating the classes. Let me create a package as shapes. And here, let's create the first one as bounded shape. Start responding fast because I've explained everything twice almost. So what should be the data member, the state? Any shape will always have some starting point or some origin or whatever. So here I'm defining only like you did in your point 2D class, point, that is x and y. Then you write a constructor. So you can, if you got the idea about how to write a constructor, you can generate. Currently, I'm not generating. So if I say int x comma int y, tell me what should be the code in the constructor? This dot x equal to x and this dot y equal to y. Sorry. 100% clear? Everyone understands it so far. And which is the implicit keyword it has added in the first thing is super to make a call to the implicit superclass. What is the implicit superclass of bounded shape? Which is the implicit superclass? Java.lang.object. Okay. So now, till now this class is quite all right, concrete. So let us have a toString to return x and y. Okay. So always use the annotations. I told you the meaning of it and all. So here, public string, don't make spelling mistakes. In case you make a spelling mistake, immediately you'll get a compiler error because compiler is going to apply all this method overriding and all that. And here I'll simply say return x equal to, you can generate if you have understood it, and I can say y equal to plus y. There is no abstraction so far. 100% of you are clear? I'm not generated. If you want, you can start generating. If you are clear about constructor, toString and all, you can generate also. Now, I have to declare an abstract method because bounded shape does not know how to compute area because I don't know which shape I'm talking about. So add abstract method means what is the only thing which will be supplied? Supply method declaration. And how do you do that? You have to start with the access specifier. So because I want to access it outside the package from the tester, I'm making it public, which is the keyword you learned before the break, abstract. Then comes the return type. It's a full method declaration. So the area computation typically results into double, pi r square and all that for that. Double. And you can give a area. The method name can be anything. Calculate area, compute area, anything. I'm not displaying the area here. We are just calculating the area and returning it to the caller. Everyone is clear? So those who are coming to me from C++, we write it as whatever double area equal to 0. Virtual double area and all. So no such thing here. Just an abstract keyword does it. Anyone wants to tell me why there is compiler error? You can see there is a compiler error. Why there is a compiler error? Yes, Pushkaraj, you're right. So tell me, answer me. You have to, the moment you have a method, see the error message. I'll just take the cursor here. It says the abstract method area in type bounded shape can be only defined in abstract class. So what is the rule? The moment you have a single or multiple abstract methods, class has to be declared abstract. And that will satisfy the, that will satisfy the compiler. Clear? So that compiler error is gone. Your the moment you have a method declared abstract, your class has to be tagged, class has to be declared abstract. Fully clear so far? All the statements which I had made earlier before the break, are they getting clearer? Okay. So now, if I write only abstract superclass, is it useful or is it useless? If I only write the abstract superclass, useful or useless? Of course, useless. Why? Because nobody can create an instance. This class is not usable. So what is the next step I have to do? I have to extend it by a concrete. What is concrete? Non-abstract subclass. So let's go ahead with the hierarchy. So suppose I say shapes. The same, this thing I'm creating the class as a circle. Can I say circle is a bounded shape? Of course, yes. So how do I say is a extends? The moment I do this, you get a compiler error. Why there is a compiler error? There are two reasons. Tell me, what are the reasons why it is made? Why there is a compiler error here? There are two problems. Which ones? One is, yes, when you don't write a constructor, it will add the default constructor, which will call the default constructor from superclass. That is missing. And Yash is right. Second answer is, this is the moment you say extends from bounded shape, you are inheriting abstract functionality. So unless and until you give a concrete functionality, you give the implementation or you implement it, compiler will not keep quiet. So observe. So tell me, can you tell me what is the additional state you want to add here? It's a circle. Circle has a center that will be inherited X and Y. And additionally, it has, again, all, tight encapsulation, double radius. Okay. So now let us write, ignore the compiler error. Let us write the constructor. So tell me, how many arguments I should supply here? This is a revision of first day. No, not first day, second day. That was your, this thing, calling the constructor and all that. Of course, you have to pass 3. You have to supply X and Y coordinates, which are taken as the origin point, center point, and then you have to also supply the radius. So, can you access private members of the superclass from the subclass? You can't. So, which is the way to initialize them? What is the way of initializing? call the superclass constructor. So this is what I was saying, guys. Do you need to add a parameterized constructor in the abstract class? Yes. For which reason? For creating this class instance? No. For creating the subclass instance, especially when you have private data members. I'm telling you, you may not understand each and every word of my English statement. That's okay. But you have to understand each and every concept of Java and the syntax and implementation. So I hope you are clear here. But this is only initializing X and Y. Now I need to initialize the radius also. Complete state, right? So this dot radius equal to radius. And I hope you know the answer of this. This keyword is required or not required here? Of course required, because the local variable name and the instance variable names are same. All statements clear? But as you can see, still it is giving you the problem. And it is telling you so clearly, the type circle must implement the inherited abstract method. Everyone knows we have not given this thing. What is it called? Method definition. So there are two ways to solve the error. Suppose you say, I don't know how to compute the circle's area. So simply tag this class as an abstract class. And compiler compiler is satisfied. Because abstract classes, it can contain the abstract functionality. So tell me, which is the method it has inherited here? Which is that inherited abstract method here? Name the abstract method, inherited abstract method area. But you and me know that we know how to compute the circle's area. So if you want to continue with the abstraction, add abstract keyword. Otherwise, implement the method. So what is the rule for method overriding or implementing, or what is it called? For defining, the annotation is the same, @ override. And what are the rules? The access specifier cannot be restricted. The return type can be same or subtype, but subtyping only is applicable to reference type. Double is a primitive type, so you can't change that. There's no subtyping. And the most importantly, the name of the method and the signature is the same. So are you understanding this? This is nothing but your overriding form, implementation form of your abstract method. So I'm saying here, implementing abstract. Okay, I'll say this, implementing inherited abstract method. Got this? Okay. And once you do this, the formula is very easy. So what is the formula? Return pi r square. But where is this pi constant? I can say 3.11414. But if you open with me. Look for a class math, java.lang.math. And if you see in the math class, there are fields. Fields means static constants. And here you can see there is a public static final double. So answer fast. What's the meaning of public? Anyone can access. It's an access specifier. Anyone can access it. You know all the keywords now. So I can ask you, what is the meaning of static? How will I access this constant? Class name dot member name, which is math.py. And what's the meaning of final? Final is a constant. It's a read only. You cannot modify the value. You got that? So here, I can always say math.py. It is from the package java.lang. But you know me, I'm a lazy programmer. So I want to say only pi into radius. You can use the power function, and it's a simply radius into radius. So I'm not using power function. But I have a compiler error. Solve this compiler error. I'm not going to say math.py. Import static is the answer. Java.lang.math is wrong. So here, import static. Initial part is correct, but the ending part wasn't correct. So what comes after that? Java.lang.math. Sorry. But from math, what is it you want? So either you can say, if you want all the constants, all the static methods access, you say star. But currently I just require the pi constant. So this will complete it. So now when you take the cursor to this pi, it will show you it is double java.lang.math.py with the value of 3.1414. Understood completely? Whenever I take you ahead, I always revise the earlier concept. You should be only focused. You should be like ready to take efforts. Without taking efforts, you cannot understand Java. Okay? Are we clear so far? Is everyone clear so far? Now tell me, if I don't override the toString further, and when I say circles toString, what will I get to see? X, Y, radius, all of above, none of above. If I don't override the toString, what is the only information I'll get? X, Y, radius, both of above, none of above, all of above, only X, Y. Why? Because no hash code. Because your superclass has already overridden it. But circle is a bounded shape and something more. So here, to add the additional details, to replace your X and Y and append it by radius, we are overriding it further. Guys, it is just a matter of you slogging. Slogging means taking effort and you will feel comfortable. First week is always toughest. So at override, you know the rule. The access specifier cannot be narrowed. String, can I create a subclass of a string? Can I create a class which extends from a string? It's a Boolean question, yes or no? No. Why? Because just before the break you heard, string is a final class. Final classes cannot be extended. So you can't apply any covariance here. It has to be string. Okay. And the name of the method has to be toString. But now, if I simply say return radius, am I returning the complete state? Okay, there is a problem because it's not a string. It's not a string. So I'll just say this. So here, is it a complete state getting returned or is it a partial state? Answer is partial state. So how to get access to that X and Y? Two options. You can write two getters, get X, get Y. Which is the easier one? Simply call superclasses toString. So how will I call superclasses toString? Answer is super.toString. Very right. But I'm just labeling it as this is what circle. Actually, I could have given the name to the shape also like yesterday. I forgot to mention it in bounded shape. So right now I'll just hard code it here. Otherwise, I could have said get name. Like yesterday we saw that. Anyway, so circle. Then I'll say here super.toString. And then I'll append it to radius equal to something. Are we 100% clear? I'm waiting here for a half a minute. Is the complete class definition, including abstraction, including method overriding, implementation and all, are we clear? Totally? There's no ambiguity, there are no issues because you're going to apply. Whatever I teach you on a particular day, I generally try to ask it as an assignment with a different scenario. So you get to apply, you get the confidence. Now, so this class we wrote it without a single help of ID, everything we type. Now I'm going to show you IDE shortcuts and we'll generate the whole code. Okay. See, am I saying that you have to use or you should use IDE shortcuts so early? I'm not saying that. But if anyone is already a Java developer, he or she knows Java and then don't want to waste time in that, or the moment you say, I'm comfortable now, I know what toString is, I know how to override and all that, go ahead and use the shortcuts. But I'm trying to remind you again, in technical interviews, there is no guarantee or generally you are not given the ID. So these basic methods such as toString, later equals and all that, all this API you have to know. So going ahead, now let's create a new class. See what I'm doing. I'm showing you all possible IDE shortcuts. So click on shapes, C for, not circle, C for class. And here suppose I'm creating a rectangle. So tell me, what will be the superclass of rectangle, object or a bounded shape? O or B? Of course, a bounded shape. Immediate superclass, I'm saying, direct superclass. So remove that object and simply say BOU or something and control space it and choose bounded shape. You got that? So extends from bounded shape. I'm showing you all shortcuts. And when you say finish, see the little bit of code generation. You got it? So rectangle extends bounded shape and it has given you the skeleton. Skeleton means the template code, the already that we had typed earlier. This is automatic generation. So let me take you faster. The state. When I say I want to draw a rectangle, I need a top left corner, width and height, or you can say length and breadth, whatever. So here I'm sticking to private, double, width and height. And then, of course, I'll have to create a, I'll have to call the constructor. How many arguments will you pass to this constructor? Which, please repeat. What is it I repeat? I did not, somebody said please repeat. What should I repeat? Yeah, 4 is the answer, correct. ID shortcut. That whenever you say, I'm not going to repeat that you can try it in the lab session. I'll say this verbally. When you generate that class, the super class name, change it from object to bounded shape. That is all I showed you so far. Okay. Yo. Such things you do it with a certain speed here, or I can be relaxed in the lab session and I can get it done. That ID shortcut is very easy to follow. Now, if you want to type the constructor, be my guest. You have already done it here. So I'm showing you how to generate it. Source. This has to be done with a fast speed. I'm not going to repeat each and every keystroke here. That's not part of a theory concept. So here you have a generate constructor using fields. And which are the fields to initialize? Width and height. And if you are observant, sometimes you're not observant. It has already chosen your superclass constructor. So the whole code can be generated with one keystroke. Generate constructors using the field. So it has got X and Y, width and height. Like we said earlier, we had typed everything. Now I'm just showing you the IDE shortcuts. So here, super X and Y and initializing width and height. Are we clear so far? You got that ID shortcut also, just a class and extend it from bounded shape. There was nothing else. Now, so here, this is what rectangle. So what is the area computation of the rectangle? Width into height. So I don't require any that whatever that any additional thing. So I'll simply say this width and height. The formula is all easy. It is the object-oriented principles which I'm trying to show you. So we have done that. And here, should I override toString further or not required? Overriding of toString is required. Otherwise, if you don't override, I'll just get the rectangles top left corner X and Y. So here, is there any shortcut? Automatic generation? Yes. Source, generate toString. And it is asking you which ones. So I'll say width and height. And since it is incomplete, I can say rectangle. This is the name of the shape plus super dot toString. Okay. And then concatenate it further. That is width equal to and all that. If you want to drop these square brackets, this is all formatting. You can format it the way you want. So what all information we are extracting? This is the name of the shape, rectangle. Since I'm not given any name, I'm hard coding it here. Calling the superclass as toString, which returns X and Y, and appending it by width and height of the rectangle. So I'll just put it in one frame where you can see that and tell me. Earlier we had done the same thing. Now we are doing the very similar thing. Width and height not present. What are you saying? Width and height I have declared here. So I don't know, maybe you were answering some earlier question. So in rectangle, I'm printing all the things. Are we clear? I think you were, Avinash, you were answering earlier. Okay, so now the tester. Everyone is clear with the hierarchy. I had given you the design diagram for the same purpose. So your shapes are all ready. Now let us have the what is it called? Driver code. Driver means client code, application code, UI code, and check this out, test this out. Okay. So I'm not going to write that while and switch case. You'll see. I'll give you the comment what I want, and you will give me the code. So here I'm creating another package and another class. So here I'll say, oh, not in shapes. So I'll call it the package name as tester. And here I'm saying test abstraction. So that is the main thing. So now I want something. So I'll tell you from the memory diagram what I want. And you will give me that. So here I'm drawing the memory diagram. And you will do, we are doing the reverse engineering. I talk in memory, you talk in Java. That way. Okay, so this, observe what I'm doing. This is a huge practice, huge revision of all the things done from the first day. If you understand it, that is. I hope my memory picture is becoming clearer because I'm going to ask you a reverse question. What will be the Java code you will write for getting me this? So, keep it accordingly. Something. Sure. I'm giving you a lot of time. I've yet to give the question. Question is write a Java code, but I've yet to tell you the punchline. So wait for a second. And then I'm saying, of course, this is what is a circle, right? So points here. Class pointer here points here. And the class pointer here points to rectangle class and this. Okay. So this is the memory picture. So the question is, what will be the one-liner? What will be the one-liner Java code? I don't want. Pushkara has given me something. Let me see. Shape array equal to new shape. Shapes 0, shapes 1, shapes 2. Fine. But this one, Pushkarash, your answer is right. But you are investing 4 lines. Can anyone give me this entire memory picture in one line? That is what makes my question interesting, I hope. He's not creating, yes, you are wrong. He is right. Here, when he is written in new shape array, he is not creating an object of shape. He is creating array of references of the type shape. And shape cannot be instantiated, but the shape type of reference can be created. So his solution is absolutely right. But I'm not accepting the solution because Sumit, hear my statement. I'm not allowing you to write it in the 4 lines. I want it combined it in 1 line. How would you write it in 4 lines? Exactly as Pushkaraj had written. He was very right. So here, bounded shape. Let's say shapes equal to. There's no scanner and all. I'm giving the hard-coded things here. So new bounded shape, array of how many this is? We had 3, right? So here this is fine. No sc.nextInt and all that is required. And then you can say shapes of 0 is equal to. So guys, don't get confused. Like I think Yash got confused. Here, are you creating the instance of a bounded shape or are you creating an array object? Array or not? You're creating an array object. You're not creating a object of your bounded shape. You're creating an array object. So array, which I call it as a holder, array of references of type bounded shape. So I've told you, you can create a reference type of an abstract type, but you cannot instantiate it. For example, if you start writing new bounded shape, it tells me something like anonymous inner class. You don't know that still, but and if I say 1, 2, 100% you will get an error. Why there is a compiler error? Is it cribbing from LHS or RHS? Answer questions fast. RHS, because this is perfectly fine. You can create a reference type of abstract type, but you cannot create the object of it. Okay, so this is of course wrong, but who stops you from saying new circle and whatever coordinates I had asked you to add? So something like 50, 100 and 5.6. Okay, so it was absolutely a correct solution, but I'm not doing it. I'm not accepting it because I don't want to invest 4 lines. So can anyone do the whole thing, but you are allowed to write only 1 single line? Yes, please. This is what makes the Java training interesting. If you think beyond, but if you just are worried about speed and this, then I can never satisfy you. Tell me, I'm being very open with you. No, you can have any values, Yash. I'm not going to hold you against the values. Just give me the clue. You don't have to write the whole statement. Tell me, give me the clue. How are you going to manage it? Yes, please. What is it you have learned? Dynamic initialization of array. So you remember I had shown you that for the primitive array, and I said that I will show you the dynamic initialization of array of references earlier. You remember that dynamic initialization concept? Int array data 1, 2, 3, 5. We had taken all this. I had shown you the multidimensional array also. But today that is not the one. So what is it? Observe. So the LHS remains the same. Is equal to add the, so okay, the solution is dynamic initialization of arrays. So we are revisiting your arrays concept. And here, this is what it can consist of. It is an array of references. So here you create the object new circle. And let me refer to my values for the complete clarity. 50, 100 and 5.6. I'm just trying to stick to this. So here 50, 100 and 5.6. So of course, rest of it is copy paste. So understand me. Is it an array of objects or is it an array of references? Wrong answer, Himanshu. I mean, your thing was this. It is still array of references. What does a new operator return? A reference. And that reference is going to be allocated in the array as I have shown, and actual object is created elsewhere on the heap. It's a very interesting concept or other memory picture. And more importantly, we are going to use it all the time for populating some fixed data, sample data, hard-coded data. So now I think you will understand. I hope, I mean. So what are the triplets? 10, 20, 10.5. So here 10, 20, just some values. And here, can I add a rectangle type of object reference into a shape? Of course, yes. Which concept makes it work? Upcasting. Rectangle is a shape. So here I can say happily, new rectangle, and whatever may be the values, 45, 55, 10, and 5.8. 45. Whatever. The values are not important, like I told somebody. Something. 10 and 5.8. So of course they are double. So it will be 10.0 and 5.8. Okay. So I will send you this code on the chat. So here, so that you know, sorry. So that if you are trying it parallelly with me and you could not type it as fast as whatever, you can do this. So this is hard coding. I mean, I'm creating an array. Okay, forget the statement. I'll ask you. When this line is executed, how many objects will be memory allocated on the heap? Don't give me a wrong answer. I have drawn the memory picture first and then asked you a question. Answer is 4. So which one gets created first? An array. It is initialized with all 3 null values. Then circle and another circle and rectangle is created elsewhere on the heap and the references are added. So this is creating, as you said correctly, 4 objects. Which 4 objects? One array of shape type of references plus C1 as in circle 1, circle 2 and rectangle 1. Are we all 100% clear with memory diagram? New is automatically added. Yes, where did I deny that? Where is new added? Not here new is added. You are completely wrong. Here, you are mixing up things. I said here it is added new int array. So here also similarly, new bounded shape array is added. So you got mixed up, Aman. You realize what I said? Are you understanding? Okay, so that was the thing. So here you don't have to specify this. This is implicitly added. But how can you create the circle class instance without saying new? Impossible. So here new is of course required. So you know, when I make a statement, of course it was a good question. Anytime you're running into such doubt, talk to me. So how many objects we are getting created is 4, and the state of the individual object is kept in a hard-coded manner. Because why this helps you? I don't have to wait for attaching scanner and taking it and testing. So whenever you are whenever you are appearing for lab exam, technical interviews, 100% suggestion is write the test script. The testing based, test TDD, test driven development is the theme of today, is the trend of today. So here I have created enough test data and now we can check your business logic easily. And once your functionality is all working, then attach the scanner and replace all these hard-coded values by the actual data. So that is how we generally work. So now I have a question. Display complete. I said complete details of each shape. When I say complete details, if it is a circle, X, Y, and radius. If it is a rectangle, it is X, Y, and width and height. So that is complete details. Plus display the area. Anyone wants to tell me how? Okay, of course. Anyway, I'll not say anything. Let me see what you are saying. How do I do this? You understood this? You can definitely go for your for each loop. You can go for loop, for each loop and think. For each is easier. So dictate. For each, what should be the argument of that for each? Should it be a bounded shape or a circle or rectangle or object? If you say object, it will work. for toString, but for area, you have to do the downcasting. So don't go to object. So you go to bounded shape. Let's say S, bounded shapes S in, what is the variable name? Shapes. So what will be the first implicit assignment? S is equal to shapes of 0. But where is shapes of 0 pointing to? The circle instance. That's why I drew this. So shapes of 0 is pointing, referring to this. So the moment I say SOP, S, I've spent 10 minutes. So when I say S, what will it call implicitly? Which method it will call implicitly? ToString. You remember that print streams ToString. I'm sorry, println calling the value of etc. Okay, so don't say ToString, it is not required. And then I want to print the area also. So area, and that area is, how will I compute the area, guys? Can I say S dot area? Answer is yes. Is there any downcasting required? Is there any instance of checking followed by downcasting required? Answer is no. Whole reason is abstraction. That was my main point. So we have got the best of both worlds. What is best of both worlds? I don't have to unnecessarily reveal. Reveal means show the complete details. And plus, what is it? What do you say? I escape all that downcasting and instance of checking and all. So that is best of both worlds. And because compiler goes by the type of the reference. So tell me, what is the type of S? Bounded shape. So compiler will check in bounded shape, is there any area function as an area method? Yes. Compiler only looks for method declaration and compiles it. So can anyone tell me for the first two iterations? For the first two iterations, the toString and area function will be called on which object? Everyone should know it. I'm revising the same point for the 20th time, maybe, or maybe 50th, I don't know. Of course, circle. That is where your runtime polymorphism is kicking in. So this is the example of your upcasting, because shape type of reference pointing to circle, shape type of reference pointing to rectangle, solved by upcasting. And this will pick up at the runtime for the first iteration circle, and for the last iteration, whose method it will call? Rectangles method. And is anything fixed or resolved by the compiler or at the runtime? Answer is runtime. So this whole approach is called as runtime polymorphism. Sufficient revisions, guys, for the whole concept to reach you. The concept of runtime polymorphism is one of the most important concepts, along with upcasting, downcasting, and instance of checking. I got only one yes from Girish. Where are others? Are you getting this? So once you start working in it, thinking about it and solving, then you will find it easy. Otherwise, you'll just say that she's talking something in English, which I don't understand at all. Okay, so don't do that. Don't leave that. Okay, so try it out. And then, of course, I don't have to give any inputs at all because I have hard coded those inputs, and you can see that X, Y, and the radius. I've not used any printf and format specifier, so it is giving in its own manner. You can replace by that println by printf and adjust the precision. That's not the point. So don't distract to a wrong point. And automatically, as in using the method dispatch, dynamic method dispatch, it is picking up the circles details and computing the circle area. And if you see this, it is picking up the toString and the area formula from the rectangle dynamically. And the whole thing is a complete clean code design because we are not adding unnecessary details. The what is it called? Implementation details are well hidden from the end user. So this is the example of your abstraction, starting from abstract classes to implementations to tester. Are we suitably clear? So if I ask you a question on this, what are we looking at? Look at this class and tell me, are you looking at partial abstraction or complete abstraction? P for partial, C for complete. Answer is, it is partial abstraction. Why people are saying partial? Because are there any concrete methods here? Yes, there is a concrete functionality. There are state members. There is a constructor. So abstract classes allow you to give partial abstraction. But the rule is, I mean, you know the rule. Java doesn't allow multiple inheritance. So if you write two abstract classes, will you be able to create a class, subclass, which extends from multiple abstract classes? It's a yes or no question. Answer is no. So if you want to enjoy total abstraction, complete abstraction, where I don't have to think in how, I don't have to think in implementation at all. Plus, I want to enjoy the multiple inheritance, enter interfaces. So one of the most important concepts in object-oriented principles in Java is interfaces, which is a natural extension, which is a natural second topic. Second part is from partial abstraction, I'm taking you to full abstraction, complete abstraction. So for the remaining time of the day, we are going to stay in interfaces. And I'm telling you, I'm promising you, even after all this time spent, if somebody has still not understood something, such as, you know, I'll tell you, such as array of references, such as what? That indirect referencing, upcasting, downcasting, instance of checking. Wait for some more time. And the whole set of concepts will get repeated, revised, but using interfaces. So let's enter interfaces. And people ask you, favorite question, abstract class versus interfaces, and so many things I've given in writing. You should go through it. And these are the formal PPTs. But I would like to open the README regarding interfaces. The name is About Interface. So I'll highlight some things. You read it peacefully, quietly, and then we'll discuss it. Of course, one by one, I mean, word by word. Okay, so let's start reading it together. What is an interface? Of course, interface is a keyword just like a class, but I don't mean that. I want to explain what it is. So do you remember on the second day, when we were discussing about classes and objects, what is a blueprint of an object? Class. Everyone knows that. Unless and until you create a class, you cannot instantiate it. And instance of the class is nothing but object. Guys, yesterday somebody told me his confusion. When I say object, I don't mean java.lang.object. I mean class instance. If I want to talk about java.lang.object, I will say that java.lang.object. So please don't get confused. So the object's blueprint is class. Likewise, the interface is a blueprint of a class. In short, when we talk about interface and something called as implementation class, what are you going to start with? Are you going to start declaring an interface, or are you going to write an implementation class first? Answer is, you will declare an interface first. So that's how I mean, in that sense, interface is considered as the blueprint or a template of a class. Now, important second statement. What are the two important members? What is it which you declare in the interface? Like in class, you have data and the action. So here also you have data members and you have actions as in methods. But now this is where the similarity ends. The moment you declare any data member in an interface, what is it implicitly? All interface data members are implicitly public, static, final. So tell me, the moment I say this, the moment I say it is public, can interface data members be accessed from anywhere? It's a Boolean question, yes or no? Of course, yes. Will you need to create the instance of the interface, which is impossible for accessing it? No, because it's a static member. And the last one is final. What is the meaning of final in Java? Is it a constant or not a constant? Of course, it is a constant. Read only. So all you can declare in an interface is public, static, final constants. And do you have to write all this triplet? Triplet means all these three keywords. Answer is not. Who is going to add it implicitly? Answer that question. Who is going to add it implicitly? Whenever you declare an interface, Java compiler. Very right. So I'm going to say it literally 100 times. So by 100 times, at least everyone should get it. By default, the interface data members are public, static, final. Okay. Now about the methods. So when you declare any method in the interface, what are the two implicit keywords Java compiler add? It is public and abstract. So unlike, see, just now we did the example of an abstract class. It is all connected. So here, see this. Here, what is it we had to do? Observe carefully. I had to add a keyword here, abstract. But when I start discussing, when we start creating an interface, will I need to add this keyword public or abstract? Answer is no. Who is going to add it implicitly? Java compiler. Okay, so that is the meaning. Data members, public, static, final. Methods, public and abstract. So now read the next one. The interface in Java is a way or is a mechanism to achieve partial abstraction or complete abstraction. Answer is complete abstraction. So what do I mean by that? There can be only abstract methods in the Java interface. But guys, take it with the pinch of salt. Pinch of salt means take it as a disclaimer because it's going to change a little bit. This statement is 100% true till Java 7. So today what I'll be discussing is all the Java 7 till Java 7 what we used to have in interfaces. And on one day I'm going to show you modern Java features, Java 8 onwards feature. Then we will speak differently. But if I start showing you directly everything, all you will feel is lost. So here, till Java 7, Java 8 onwards picture changes. So till Java 7, all you could add in the Java interface was, your choices are method declaration, method definition, both or neither. Pick up an option. Answer is method declaration only. Okay, but you don't have to write abstract keyword, it is implicitly added. And as I said, it is used for achieving complete abstraction, 100% abstraction, and it will give you an alternative to multiple inheritance. How and all, you will see. Now, what does Java interface represent? Like how we have, what is the relationship between a superclass and a subclass? What I say, subclass has a superclass, uses a superclass, or is a superclass? Is a. People were asking me question on has a. So don't ask me now. We will devote a day for that. I mean, separate day, separate time. So all you are focusing on is a. So when I say this, the relationship between interface and its implementation class is going to be is a. So again, the concept is same. And will you be able to instantiate? Will you be able to create the object instance of the interface? Of course not. Like how abstract classes we could never instantiate. But this was, I mean, that was a partial abstract structure. This is a complete abstract structure. So likewise, interfaces cannot be instantiated. So just read this much. I'll be back in a minute. And I'm so sorry for this. Okay. So any topic, first thing you should know is why you are learning or what is the worth of it. It's a favorite question. Why interfaces? So you already know 2 out of 3 reasons. It is used to achieve full 100% abstraction. Okay. Using interfaces, you can achieve multiple inheritance. Means what? Means in Java, can a subclass extend from multiple superclasses? What static? I don't know what static you said. There's a public static final is the keyword I said. I've written everything. Read that. Answer is about instance and static. I don't know. Anyway, I have that question properly written and that too in lab because there are so many responses I'm getting there. Okay. So here, can one subclass extend from multiple superclasses? 100% no. But can one class implement the behavior from multiple interfaces? That answer is yes. Okay. And that is the cleanest solution of achieving multiple inheritance between a class and an interface. Everything will be clear with the example. So just give me some time. So this is the second reason, to give you an alternative to multiple inheritance. And the third and foremost, most important reason is interfaces allow you loose coupling. So you don't understand the word immediately, but I'll tell you something which is way ahead of time. You are going to learn with me in Advanced Java a very popular framework, trending framework, Spring, and later Spring Boot and all that. So the heart of Spring framework is loose coupling. So that is where you are going to use interfaces very often. So I'm just preparing you right from the today's what, 6th day. Yeah. So what is that loose coupling? Loose coupling is the separation. So when you write interfaces and implementation classes, interfaces allow you a complete separation between what is to be done, which is nothing but specification, method declaration, or it is called as contract, set of rules, versus how to implement it. So using interfaces, we are trying to create a total separation, total decoupling. Decoupling means separation between what is to be done, which is specifications, versus how it is to be done. Example, just now we wrote that area function, area method in the superclass. So when I say this, because sometimes without example, you will feel lost. And of course it is fine. So tell me here, which of the following is true? This is highlighting what is to be done or how it is to be done, or both. W or H? Answer is what is to be done. So here it is only the specification. But can you see in the abstract classes, it is mixed up with the rest of the things. So here, when you enter interfaces, wait a second, here you will see all the specifications. Means what? Public abstract methods will be declared where? In the interface. And where are you going to write the implementation of it? The how part, where will you write? In the implementing classes. Okay, so there will be a, no, subclass is a wrong word, Ankit. They are called as interface and implementation class. Superclass and subclass are different terms. Interface and implementation class is the jargon here. Jargon means technical terms. So here, This allows the total separation. This doesn't become clear unless until you see the example. So wait for an interface. Wait for an example. And as already said, which are the keywords which your compiler is going to add before the method declaration, public and abstract? Which are the keywords your Java compiler is going to insert before the data members, public, static, final? Okay, so now spend a minute in understanding the interface syntax. Spend a minute. We're going to start writing in a couple of minutes. Okay, let me start explaining the syntax. Here, first comes the access modifiers. Access modifiers, access specifiers is all the same. So, can anyone tell me which were the legal access specifiers for the class? For the class, I'm saying default or public. Same access specifiers for interfaces. So, if I don't supply any modifier, what is the meaning? It's package private. So that interface, who all can access that interface? Within the same package or from anywhere? Answer is within the same package, package private. Or it is or, how can it be default and public? So here, if you make it as public, who all can access it? Anywhere from the package as well as outside the package also. You got it? Next. What was the keyword for class? Class itself. So now you are learning today a new keyword, interface, and then followed by name of the interface. Guys, I always write it as a perfect naming convention. So again, like classes, interface name should start with a uppercase letter, capital letter, and follow the camel casing. After saying it so many times, people are still not following the norms. Get out of your system. Take it out of your system completely. You are learning Java. So stick to Java norms. Same things you will see in JavaScript. Same conventions you will see in .NET, C#, I mean. Okay, so learn it here. Next one. So here, then, okay, so we are defining an interface. So there is a extends keyword in interface also. So like how you know the terms. Which two terms you know? Superclass and subclass. You replace them by super interface and a sub interface. But the difference here is my subclass, one subclass could extend only from one superclass. Here it is all about multiple inheritance. So one interface can extend from single super interface or multiple, S or M. Answer is in front of you, multiple. So for example, when I say the example, you'll understand. So for example, I can say public interface I1 extends I2, I3, I4. So what will be I2, I3, I4? Classes or interfaces? C or I? Interfaces. Will they be called as super interface or sub interface? I2, I3, I4. Of course, no. I2, the one from which it extends is a super interface. Somebody saying sub interface. Guys, don't be so confused. Anyway, so once interface can extend from comma separated list of super interfaces. Wait for 10 minutes and I'll start with example. Next one. Now, if you go inside the interface, what are the two things largely? I'm saying largely because later I'll show you nested interfaces, nested classes, and much more. But today is your first day in interfaces. So if you want to declare a data member, what are the three keywords added implicitly by compiler? Public, static, final. So do you have to add anything here? Absolutely not. But if you add it, compiler is laughing at you. Compiler is saying, so I'm going to anyway add it for you. Why you are wanting, why more code? Why more typing? So don't do that. But it won't give you any error even if you write public, static, final. And you learned just now. How should I denote all my constants? All uppercase. So please stick to the norms. So here, can I modify the value of data hereafter? Or is it constant? Of course it is constant. Got that? Now about the method. So here, I'm just taking a simple example. So which are the two keywords? Java compiler will add public and abstract. So read it as public abstract double, calculate some function, maybe add, subtract, multiply, divide, whatever. And these are the operands. So tell me, is the structure, not structure, is the syntax of the interface clear to everyone? Basic syntax. Okay. So now let's look at the implementation class syntax. You know 80% of it. The only keyword I have to tell you is the implements. So have a look at this. Okay, so let me explain. This is your ordinary class. So which are the two legal access specifiers which you can either or add? Package private, that is default, or public. So that stays the same. Then comes the keyword class. Then comes the name of the class. You know how the convention is. And can you write a class which extends from the superclass as well as implements the interfaces? Of course, yes. So if you have this, what comes first? Answer is extends keyword comes first. So after extends, can there be only one superclass or comma separated list of superclasses? Single or multiple? Answer is single. You said list of this, you're mixing up. I'm talking about superclass. Again, my English seems to be the problem. I'm here, but you read the where the cursor is, where the highlighted one is. There can be only one superclass. But can a class implement the abstract functionality inherited from multiple interfaces? I'm trying to speak slow. Answer is yes. So which is that keyword? What is the relationship between class and interface? Implements. So implements, comma separated list of interfaces. Okay. And the moment you do this, what is it? When you say your class is implementing from, let's say A comma B comma C, and ABC are the names of the interfaces. What is the compulsory thing? The mandatory thing from the implementation class. If you don't want to create it as an abstract class, if you want to create it as a concrete class, it has to implement, meaning it has to provide the definition to all abstract methods coming from all the interfaces. So as an example, suppose, this is a valid definition. Suppose you have got a class circle. Circle is a shape, so you can extend from the shape, and it can it implement from one interface or multiple interfaces? Question. Of course, multiple. How do you supply multiple? Comma separated list. And if you don't want to create this class as an abstract class, what all it should implement? It should implement all the methods from computable as well as all the methods of runnable. So this is the basic understanding about interface and the implementation class. Okay. So I'm asking you a question just to check your clarity. Are you there? Okay. So I'll draw something and you tell me. Because unless until you're clear with the relationships, you don't understand. So here I have. I'm saying something. Superclass and a subclass. So tell me, what is the, so far you have not seen two methods, but okay, between superclass and subclass you have seen. So anyone wants to tell me, what is the relationship between superclass and a subclass? Give me the title. It is a relationship. And anyone wants to tell me, what is the keyword which we use here? Extends or implements? Because in the beginner gets confused when to use extends, when to use implements. So for him. Okay. So here, of course, it is extends. Can you have multiple such superclasses or only one superclass? Answer is single, because multiple inheritance is not allowed. 100% clear about this picture. So this is your one story. So this is your one combination. Okay, fine. Now I'm talking about, let's see this, another one. I'm saying super interface. I/F. I'm going to use hereafter. Otherwise, I waste too much time in writing the whole word interface. I'm all about shortcuts. Super interface. And here I have got a sub interface. Okay. So tell me, what is the relationship between super interface and sub interface? Let me see what you're saying. Is a very right answer. So here the relation, just a second. It is, of course, is a, and which is the keyword we use to show this sub interfaces from super interface? Extends or implements. Got the confusion already. Guys, sub interface extends from super interface. So here the keyword is, that is why I draw such diagrams, and that is why if you are confused, you should draw it with me. So again, the keyword is extends. Tell me, sub interface extends from super interface. So am I allowed to have the comma separated list of super interfaces or only a single interface? Multiple or single? Answer is multiple. So here, show it. So here you can say comma this interfaces. So I'll say I/F2, another super interface, and all that. Are you getting this? Okay, I'll not read the dots. So this is your second relationship. So what is it called? The relationship. Okay. So what is the relationship between sub interface and a super interface? Sub interface is a super interface and can have additional constants, additional methods. And which is the keyword which will join the sub interface to super interface? Extends. But unlike subclass could extend from only single superclass, sub-interface can extend from multiple super interfaces. Understood so far? Yes, Kunal, allows multiple. And finally, now tell me here the relationship between a class and an interface. So here I have got interface. Okay, I/F is interface. And here I have got a implementation class. So anyone wants to tell me what is the relationship between a class and the interface? Answer is, again, it is a relationship. Okay. And which is the keyword which we use to dictate is a relationship between a class and an interface? Here it is implements. Okay. Don't get confused. After drawing such a diagram and talking so slow, I hope there should not be any ambiguity. You should be, I mean, anyone asks you the question middle of night while you're asleep, you still should answer a correct one. So this keyword is implements. Sorry. And now tell me, can one class, there's a spelling mistake, ignore that. Can you implement the only single interface, or can you do it from multiple interfaces? Answer is multiple. So how do I show this? Here I can add comma separated list slash I/F2 interface 3 and likewise. So spend a minute on this and tell me, no confusion between extends and implements? When to use the extends keyword? Between a subclass and a superclass. Likewise, sub-interface and super interface. Here there is a multiple inheritance. And when to use implements keyword? To associate a class to the interface using is a. So one class can implement the behavior or the methods from multiple interfaces. Are we clear totally? I need some answer. If it is not, tell me no. I will keep it as a feedback. Are we understanding it 100%? Of course, you have to write an example to understand all of it. So let's start writing the example. Okay. So here I'm going to create a separate project because I don't want to mix up with abstract classes. Let's create a separate one. If you're coding along, I'm going to call it as day 6.2. You call it as day 6.2 lab. Keep it separate. Don't mix up. So finish. Okay. So tell me, what should I start writing first? Interface or implementation class? Of course, interface is a blueprint, the beginning of the whole discussion. So of course, you'll have to write interfaces. So generally, I create different packages, and in that package, I will give you the whole demos. So you just, anytime you are revising interfaces, maybe after 10 days, you just have to open this and you will get the whole revision. And the whole description about what we are going to do is already mentioned here. Okay, so similar things I'll be doing. So here, let me start. Okay, so here, okay, so in the ID, how do you do this? All these days you are calling, you are clicking on C as a class. So here we don't want to start with the class. So there is a drop down list. Can everyone see that? And in that drop down list, choose the word interface. So here you are creating an interface. So let me create a package P1 and let me add a interface here, printable. Generally, you will see you're going to learn so many Java interfaces. There will be something like runnable, serializable, clonable, comparable, and all that. Generally, I'm not saying it as always, but they show the capability. So when I say printable, it should be able to print, to be able to print, to be able to run, etc. So again, I can name it as ABC also, not an issue. So here I'm declaring an interface. I'm starting you with the questions. So here, suppose I declare, okay, double something. Okay, so anyone wants to tell me which are the implicit keywords Java C adds? Which implicit keywords? Anyone wants to tell me? I said it already 10 times. I just want to hear from you. The answer is public, static, and final. Right? So in short, what you are declaring here is the interface constant. Okay, and initializing the value naturally. Next one here. So I'm just adding a method. So it is printable. So let's say printable. It prints the message. So let me call it as void print, and I'm passing the message to be printed. Okay, it's printable interface. It has a printable interface as a method print. Later, when I show you comparable, you will see comparable used for sorting. So you'll have compare to. When I take you to, what is it called? Runnable interface in threads, you will have a public void run method, etc. So this is your capability. Now tell me, which are the two keywords Java compiler adds implicitly? Everyone knows the answer, should know the answer, public and abstract. So what is it we are declaring here? What is it we are adding here? Is it a method declaration as in specification, or is it a method definition means implementation? Answer is specifications alone. So this implies specs. Specs means specification. Guys, you must be knowing the what do you say, the format of PGDAC module. Any PGDAC, PGDBDA, whatever. So what you have is at the end of the module, when all your learning is done, you have to create a project with your team members and all that. And that is where you will be implementing all the ideas or all the technologies, whatever. You can choose Java, .NET and all that. If you want a full stack, there is a beautiful integration of Java and React, etc., etc. So I don't want to say this. So the point is, when you start designing, when you start with the project ideas, suppose you want to develop a library management system or a hospital or donation system, NGOs or whatever. So first you think about what is to be done. Which are the services your application has to offer? In short, you think about specifications. That time the interface and implementation class concept will help you a lot. So here, all I'm saying is this print method takes a message and prints it. But am I telling, am I revealing? Revealing means, am I saying that whether it gets printed on the console, or whether it is stored in a file, or whether it is stored, whether it is sent from client to server, is the implementation mentioned or not mentioned? I won't even say hidden, Pushkaraj. I'll say it is simply not mentioned. So where the implementation will be added? In the interface or in the implementation class? Answer is in the implementation class, it will be available. Okay, so this is it. So this is your basic most. I'm not even going any fancy. I'm not doing any fancy stuff here. Fancy we will go, but over time. Okay, so now I'll answer the question, please. Just writing the interface, sufficient or insufficient? Useful or useless? Answer is insufficient, useless. Why? Because nobody can create the instance of the interface. Why interfaces cannot be instantiated? Guys, it is a pure abstract structure, complete abstract structure. And even the partial abstract structure as your abstract classes, you could not instantiate. So how can you instantiate this? Impossible. Okay. So what is the next step? What is the next step I should take? What is the next thing to make it useful? I have to write. Yes, please. What is the next thing I have to write? To make it sufficient, don't just say class. I want an adjective there. You understand English grammar, right? Verbs, adjective, nouns and all. No, wrong. Implementation class. Avinash is right. So here I have to write an implementation class. So if you want to see it pictorially, pictorially means picture view. So here, what is it we have defined so far is printable. Okay. Printable has certain data members. So it has some data and it has method declaration. Okay. And what kind of method declaration it is? Is it a concrete or abstract? It's an abstract method declaration. And what is that declaration we have added is a print method. It's a print method. So now, can I create the implementation class? Of course, yes. So here, now we have the is a relationship. So here we are going to create console printer. Okay. So console printer means what? Where that message will be printed on the STD out, standard output console. Okay. So console printer. And the moment I create a console printer, will it be a class or an interface? It will be the implementation class. What will be the relationship between a printable and a console printer? Answer is yes, please. Which type of relationship is, I'm not even started with has a, okay. So is a relationship, and which is the keyword you will use to bind these two? Extends or implements? Of course, it will be implements. Okay. So the keyword we'll be using here is implements. Are we clear? So that is what we are doing here. So now, initially, since this is your first day, first hour in interfaces, I'll not generate any code. The moment you show me that, okay, you have understood it, I'll show you the code generation. Everything can be generated from ID, other than business logic, other than functional logic. Anyway, so I'll keep it all together. Later, I'll give you the design norms. So now what is it I should create is a class. And here, I'm calling it as console printer. You can call it as console printable and all that, doesn't matter. And what is the keyword I have to use here is implements. Which interface? Printable interface. The moment I do this, there is a compiler error. Can you tell me how to fix the compiler error? There are two options. Let me hear. I did not understand. Abstract method, yeah, fine. But tell me the solution, guys. Tell me the solution. Don't say, Srinivas, adding abstract method. Nobody. Implementing, yes. Either you can implement that logic, which logic? Print method, or if you don't know how to print on a console, then simply mark the class as abstract class. So when you say implements, all you are doing is inheriting the abstract functionality. So how to satisfy compiler? If you don't know how to print, you can't implement the functionality. So you can simply say public abstract class and compiler is satisfied. But I don't want to show you the abstract implementation class. So the moment I want to do it in a concrete means non-abstract matter. What is the rule? Must implement what? Inherited. Guys, you will get used to the, see, I'm not saying my English. I'm saying not mine, Java technical terms. You have to understand because you have to use it to explain your point to the interviewer. Or when you join companies, when you are talking to your co-programmer, your partner, peer, you have to use this language, otherwise nobody will understand you. Going ahead, must implement inherited abstract functionality. Okay. Now, which was the annotation we used to tell the compiler whatever follows is the overriding form of the method? Everyone knows the answer. At override. Luckily for you, same annotation works for implementation also. So at override is used in two cases. Indicates that the method declaration is intended to override a method declaration in a super type. So if it is a super class, you are overriding it. If it is an interface, you are implementing it. Okay, sorry. So at override, and you know the rules. So the same rules as method overriding are used for implementation. Okay, so okay, let me say this. See the method declaration, guys. So if I say here void string message, and I just say something. Okay, I don't even say this. Anyone wants to tell me? I gave the answer by mistake already. Can you tell me why there is a compiler error? There you can see there is a compiler error. Why? Wrong answer, Yash. Part is correct, part is wrong. Public abstract. Are you going to seriously add the abstract keyword? You're saying not return. This is a void. Void is not supposed to return anything. Guys, what is the rule? While overriding or while implementing, can you reduce, can you restrict? Restrict means narrow down the access specifier. Answer is no. And which is the implicit access specifier? Public. So while implementing, that was available in this thing. What is it called? Interface. Here you'll have to explicitly mark it as a public. Don't say public and abstract. You can't have an abstract method and definition both. And since it is a console printer, you don't know file handling, socket handling. So I'm just going to add all SOPs. So printing, see the thing what I'm doing. Printing what? Printing a message on the console. So I'm going to keep it all simple. All simple means business logic simple. Later we will make it complex. Complex means advanced. But this is your first few hours. So it has to be something. Are you understanding it? Are you understanding how to write an interface and its implementation class quickly? Is the code which I have written clear? So implements bring in is a relationship. And the moment a class implements an interface, it has to implement all the abstract methods which it has got. So I have started with a simple one, just printable. I have to start in simple manner. And here, when I say printing message on the console, you know what it is. So whatever message, if I give a message as, hello, how are you? How are you doing on the 6th day in Java, if I ask you? So printing, hello, how are you? On the console will be the output. Okay. So what is the first step we did? Interface. Second step, implementation class. Third step, I want to test it. So let's write a tester. So typically I write a tester in a separate package, but I want to keep everything together for your revision. So today revision time, whenever you spend, you will find it all in the same package. So here in P1, let me write a tester. So you can say test interface, tester, anything. And I'll do something very, very simple. So here I'm saying console printer. So tell me, am I creating the instance of an implementation class or interface? I for interface, C for class. What is it we are doing here? You cannot instantiate an interface. So all I'm creating is the implementation class instance, and we are going extremely slow and in simple baby steps. Printer dot print, and here I'm giving a message. Okay, so when I run this, I hope there is no confusion, no what is a complication and all about it. So when I run this, what do you expect to see is, I hope very clear. So printing which message? Hello, how are you doing message on the console. So tell me, writing the interface, writing the implementation class, and writing the tester. All fully clear so far? This is the basic most example I'm giving. Are we clear so far? Okay. So here let us take the, yes, I like that answer, Crystal. Yes, but I just hope that everyone is crystal clear, not just a couple of you. Anyway, so let's take a 10 minutes break here and resume in 10. And then I'll show you so many wonderful things, so many interesting things in interfaces in 10 minutes. Yeah, Rohit. So you think about it in the break. I'll come back and I'll repeat it. I don't think there is anything worth repeating, but you take a look at it. I will share this with you. I'm sending you this code. Have a look at it in your break. Srinivas, you are off track. The tester, console printer, and printable are on same package. So which import you are talking about? If you are accessing the functionality from the same package, do you seriously need import? You don't. Anyway, guys, so what I'll do is I'll do better. See what I'm doing. I'll give you the whole day 6.2 project. Wait a second. I'm creating a zip of it because you might not remember what I did, and I'm sharing you with that. They are Viraj, I will share it as the today's help. Not now. Haphazard, I don't want to do that. So actually, I can give you this much about interfaces. You're going to get it. How much you're going to read in the next 10 minutes? I don't know. And here, I'll just add one more thing for you. The zip file. So you can just extract that zip file. And if you're not coping up with the speed of typing, my typing, this has the day 6.2 zip, which has got that interface, implementation class, and the tester. See you in 10. continue. So somebody was asking me about the tester, Rohit, I guess. There is only two-liner tester. I'm creating an object, instance of the class, console printer, and simply calling a method print with certain message. Are you getting it? Got it. Okay. So great. So are you understanding interface, implementation class, and the corresponding tester? Now let me create another one. I'll just refactor it into tester one. Guys, before I join the lab, please go through all this and go through it along with my readmes. So now let me make a copy of tester one into tester two. And let me ask, I just copied it. So here, let's talk about it. Understand the point. This is your interface. Interface has one constant, public static final, one method. So here, this is the implementation class. So the question being asked is, can implementation class access interface constants? What is your guess? Can this class, implementation class, access this test data? It's a Boolean question, yes or no? Of course, yes. It cannot modify because it's a constant. But can it access it? Yes. So here, I want this, printing this. And after that, on the next line, maybe, I want to print this test data. So anyone wants to tell me how to access this test data? I want to print the value of that constant here. How? Answer is directly. Avinash is right. I don't have to say interface name dot member name. I can directly access it as data. Oh, sorry, test data. So what is the point? The point is, points I'm writing in comments as well as it is written in those readmes. So I'll make a statement here. Implementation class can directly. When I say directly, what I mean? Without using interface name dot member name, can directly access interface constants. Are you understanding the statement? So, no. Of course, it is static, but how do you access static member? What you are saying is wrong. Somebody said static is the reason. No, it is not that reason. The moment, see, the static members means the class name, I mean, type name and the member name. But here, did I have to write printable.test data? I did not have to, because implementation classes have direct access to interface constants. Now the next question. Here, in this tester, will I be access? Can tester access interface constant? Give me a quick answer, yes or no. What do you think? Can this tester class access the interface constant, that test data? I'm waiting for your answer. No answers? Answer is of course yes. I did not ask you yet directly or not directly. Of course yes. Why? Because what are the three keywords? Public, static, final. The moment it is public, accessible from anywhere. The moment it is static, you know the meaning. And final is constant. So anyone wants to tell me, I'm printing interface constant. So can I access it directly like I did in that implementation class? And can I simply say plus test data? Nothing. So how will I access it from non-implementation class? There you will have to say, tell me what is it you will have to say? Not console printer, Yogesh, you're wrong. The printable interface. Console printer doesn't have the constant. Printable has the constant. So you will have to say printable dot test data. So can tester means tester in the sense non-implementation classes. Can it also access it? Yes. But can they do it directly just by the member name? Answer is no. Can I do it with interface name dot member name? Answer is yes. Is there any shortcut? So I'm asking you, see, everything I'm showing you with example. So here, I'm too lazy a programmer. I want to access it directly. So what is the solution? You know the solution is nothing but static import. So here you can say import. You will say a moment ago you said why you require import because you are in the same package. That was for importing the type. This is for importing the static member. So even if you are in the package, same package, import static is still required. Import static. Anyone wants to fill in the blanks. What should I write here? Tell me, dictate. No, give me the full thing. You are not giving me the full thing, Yogesh. What you have written is not complete. Import static ke baad. Yes, wrong. Give me your correct option. I'm waiting, but not long waiting. Something is missing, guys. P1 dot printable dot star. So it has a fully qualified class name. I mean interface name. So P1. Where is the constant? Printable mein constant is. And what is the constant you want to access? If there are multiple constants, you can say star. But currently I'm just talking about test data. That does the trick. So this is how I revise earlier topics. I don't know any better way than this. If you come across a better way, do share. I can adopt that. Okay. So this is your first level basic things. Okay. So please go through tester 1, tester 2 and all that. I'm going to create a tester series and you will understand a lot. Next one. Okay. So open this. I'm opening this for you and you tell me. Listen to the question. Line number 6. Am I using here direct referencing or indirect referencing? Yes, fully qualified class name. The earlier answer was correct. What is it being used here? Direct referencing or indirect referencing? Of course, this is an example of a direct referencing. What is direct referencing? Type of the reference and the type of the object is at the same level, is the same. Everyone agrees with it. We have spent yesterday, whole of yesterday in such questions, direct referencing, and got the job done. So now, is it possible to test indirect referencing using interfaces? Answer is yes. So that is what we are starting. Subclass, don't mix up first. First, think of what is happening first, Abhijit. If you always go this thing distracted and then you feel lost. So stick to the one topic at a time. I have a proper plan device, so don't worry. We will take some time example of implements and extents, but not so fast. You're just barely settling in interfaces. Give me time. Okay, so here, on the first day of Java, when we met, we talked about 2 categories of data types. Tell me quickly which ones. This is your first day revision. Respond fast. This is your 6th day. Primitive and reference. Forget primitives. Tell me which are the 3 subcategories under the reference types. Give me an example of class type of reference. Enum is wrong. Enum is just a combo of class and interface. So don't say enum. Enum is wrong. Give me an example of class type of reference. I'm waiting for the example. Give me some example of a class type of reference quickly. We have done so many things. Avinash, try to, no. Class type of reference. Okay, employee. Rohit, your RHS is unnecessary. I said reference. So scanner SC. Fruit F. Yes, you are wrong. I did not ask you for the object. I just said, yes, best one. Console printer. So everyone agrees? Okay. Give me the person P. Yes, Prajakta, right. Give me now the array type of a reference. Example of an array reference variable. I said reference, person array P. Good. Int array A, fruit array F. All agreed. So now we are going to enter the interface type of reference. Okay. So I'll write something and you tell me what it is. So printable. Oh, I've used the variable name. So here I'll say, okay. So can you tell me what is this? Okay, I'll use the different method. So printable reference. Okay, or simpler. I don't want to complicate the English part of it. Simply call it. Anyone wants to tell me what is it you will talk about this? So this is a primitive type of variable or reference type of variable, reference type of variable. And is it class type of a reference, interface type of reference, or array type of reference? Just look at this. Printable is what? An interface. So you are looking, I mean, I'm showing you for the first time. This is your interface type of the reference. Understood completely the jargon? Jargon means terms, technical terms. Clear? This is your interface type of reference. Answer me verbally. Where it will be memory allocated? Stack, heap, or method area? SHM. Of course, stack. Why I'm saying of course stack? Because it's a method local variable. And how many bytes will be allocated? Same as earlier. 4 or 8 or 16, depending upon JVM specification. Okay. So no class has been loaded for this particular statement. Now tell me, can you create instance of the interface? It's a Boolean question. Of course, the answer is absolutely not. In short, can I say reference is equal to new printable? I've taken the whole thing just in the morning during abstract classes. Same thing is repeating. So where is the problem? Is the problem for the RHS or is the, is the problem for the LHS or is it for the RHS? Of course, RHS. So here, like how we used to say, listen to the statement. Can abstract classes be instantiated? No. But can you create abstract superclass reference to refer to concrete subclass instance? If this whole English business is hurting you, think in example. Could we say bounded shape S is equal to new circle? Yes. See, the thing becomes so easy. Can I say fruit F equal to new apple provided fruit is abstract and apple is concrete? Yes, again. So in the similar tune, can I have the interface reference? Can the interface reference directly refer to implementation class instance? 100% yes. So if I say here printer, absolutely no errors. So anyone wants to tell me which kind of conversion we are having? Okay, forget the question. Why this works? Give me the one word answer. Why this works? Of course, upcasting. So are you realizing, guys, you are revising the whole concept. Upcasting, downcasting, everything, instance of everything is going to come back. But earlier we were talking about superclass and a subclass. Now we will be talking about interface and the implementation class. The relationship is the same. What is it? Only thing is, instead of extends, we use implements. So guys, it is, as you answered correctly, of course it is upcasting. And why compiler allows this as an implicit cast? Can I say every printer? What is the type of the printer? Console printer. Is every console printer printable? Of course, yes. And which is the keyword which is telling you this so confidently? Implements. So what is implements? Is a relationship. So can I say console printer is a printable? Of course, yes. And that is all your compiler needs. So compiles it okay. Okay. So this works thanks to your upcasting. Like how the whole day yesterday we spent fruit F equal to new apple or person P equal to new student, etc. This is your upcasting. So what is it? Interface reference variable or interface type of a reference variable. Can it directly refer to, I'm saying any, you'll understand any in a minute, any implementation, any of its implementation class instance. Okay. So now this is working thanks to upcasting. And now if I say, what I say, reference dot print and some message. some new message maybe. Okay. So tell me, what will compiler check? Compiler goes by the type of the reference. So can you tell me, where will compiler check for this print method? You have your options in front of you. Will it check it in printable, console printer, or tester? Of course, printable. I told you, compiler goes by the type of the reference, zero change. So what is the type of this reference? It is nothing but printable. So it will open printable. Is there a print method there? Yes, satisfies the compiler. But everyone knows JVM goes by type of the object it is pointing. So anyone wants to tell me, at the runtime, which is nothing but your runtime polymorphism, dynamic method dispatch, JVM automatically invokes naturally at the runtime. Which method? Print method on which object? Object means not java.lang.object. On which instance? Anyone wants to tell me? Everyone should tell me, not just 2-3 of you. On the no. Give me the proper this. On which class instance it will call? Give me the console printer. The name of the variable is printer. Don't use the variable names. Whose object? Console printer's object, right? Because what you are creating is a console printer object. So on the instance of the console printer. Are you getting it? And so see, here you will get the message. Hello, how are you doing? And here you will get a new message. So output is similar. But what is the difference? Here, we were using direct referencing. And the moment I use this, so this line, is it using direct referencing or indirect referencing? Tell me. Of course, it is indirect referencing. And in real world, you need indirect referencing more often than direct referencing. Again, I have spent all of yesterday in giving you assignments and discussing it. So please check. It will tell you clearly. So printing, earlier your message was getting printed in a direct manner using direct referencing. So here it is printing a new message, but on the same console, that is here, but using the indirect referencing. So tell me, are we completely clear so far? 100% clear? Okay. So now let me ask you a question from the diagram. I mean from the picture first. So let me ask you, can one interface be implemented only using one implementation class, or can one interface have multiple implementation classes? Answer is multiple. Because, so just a second, I'll just shift this slightly. So one was this implementation class. So can I create another? So can I say again another, and let's call it as a file printer, and maybe I don't have something like a socket printer exactly, but okay, when I say network printer. So I'll just tell you. Currently, I'm not going to, I can't show you because you don't know any file handling, you don't know any socket handling. Over time, you'll know. So can one interface have multiple implementation classes? Possible or not possible? 100% yes. So does anyone want to tell me the definition of a file printer class? Public class, file printer. After that, will you use implements or extends? Of course, implements. Implements, printable. And likewise, public class network printer is a printable. Means what? Implements, printable. Understood me so far? Clear? So one behavior, one functionality can be implemented via using multiple implementation classes. So can anyone tell me what will be common across these three classes? I'll give you choices. The method declaration will be same. Method definition will be same. None of it will be same. Both of it will be same. Always I talk in example as a exam question. Of course, method declaration. They will inherit abstract, all three of them will inherit the same abstract method declaration, but the definition will vary. So this guy prints it on the console. This one stores this message in a file, and this one sends this message from client to server over a socket. Not today. Today we'll just add SOP. But the point I want to make is you can have the changing definition, changing behavior. So let's identify this and let's confirm whether it really works. So here is where I'm creating a copy. So see what I'm doing. Copying the P1 into P2 so that I don't have to type too much, and keeping only the relevant stuff. Relevant means required stuff. So console printer is fine, printable is fine. And I'll just remove this. Please revise it thoroughly before I join the lab session, and then you'll be ready to ask me questions. Okay, so here I'll start Control-Shift-W, close everything. So everything starts with printable, correct? One interface, same interface I have copied. This is our one implementation class, console printer implements printable. Now see what I'm doing to looking at time, and I don't want to waste your time unnecessary at all. I'm creating the copies. So one I'm calling it as file printer. One I'm calling it as socket or network printer. Okay, and you will see the definition, and I'll ask you the question. Look at my question. Change or no change? This is how I ask from day 1 to day end. Change or no change? C or NC? Are you understanding? Here, I'm declaring another implementation class. Answer is no change. Tell me. I've highlighted change or no change. Answer is no change. And here, the implementation, change or no change? Of course, change. Otherwise, it's like a duplicate. It's like a redundancy. So here I'm saying printing the message, or I'll just change the verb here, storing. Currently, don't expect the file handling. It's like a week ahead and all that. Storing the message in the file. Okay. So whatever you have, and this part is already done, so I don't have to repeat it. So what is common between multiple implementation classes from the same interface? Answer is the method declaration. What is to be done is same. But how do you want to do the implementation is going to be implementation class specific. With simple examples, I'm trying to give you the concept. And here, when I create a third copy, I don't, because this point is covered, and I'll say sending the message. Sending this particular message from client to server using TCP/IP or using HTTP or whatever you are using. Are you understanding this? It's the method definition, which is going to be different for different implementation classes. The method declaration will be identical. Clear about that? Now is the testing time. So here, rename it as tester 1. Okay, so I'll write something. Okay, so I'm starting from scratch almost. So tell me, what is printer? Printer is a reference type of variable. And what is printable? Interface. So you can think of it as, not think of it, it is interface type of reference. Everyone clear so far in the tester? There's nothing in that. There's only one. So no classes have been loaded. No class such as whatever that interface.class file. Nothing has been loaded. So now, can I say what will happen if I say printer is equal to new console printer? After adding the semicolon, compiler error or no error? Answer is absolutely no compiler error. Tell me the reason. Everyone knows the reason. I keep asking you same questions to reach out to everyone. Of course, it is nothing but upcasting. So who will provide the implicit cast? Programmer or compiler? Compiler. And why it is possible? Can I say every console printer is printable? Yes, because it has got the print method implemented. So this works perfectly. Okay. And when I say printer dot print, tell me, is there any runtime polymorphism is equal to dynamic method dispatch happening? Of course, yes. Who is going to take the call? It is the JVM who will decide to invoke the print method on which object, on which type of object, on the console printer object. So this is nothing but your runtime polymorphism, also known as dynamic method dispatch. Which form of the method or which form of the object for this method to send for execution, this decision is taken by the runtime. So whatever words you understand, it is fine. Okay. So now what will be the output? Everyone has seen it. So I'll not waste your time. Now the next question. Can I say printer equal to new file printer? Again, answer is 100% yes, because file printer is a printable, right? So again, the answer is upcasting. And now, suppose I say something, or okay, I'll take the same message. Tell me, what will compiler check? Compiler goes by the type. What is the type of printer? Printable. In printable, is there a print method? Yes. Guys, you don't have to trust a letter of what I'm saying. Just don't be lazy. Just take the cursor over print method and you'll see it is trying to look for P2, that is package 2, printable.print. So it is fine. But JVM is what? It is the JVM who's going to finally execute it. So can anyone tell me? This time, the method will be executed on which instance? Whose instance? File printer. So here, this was calling the method on the instance of, what is it? Console printer. And here, again, it is a runtime polymorphism, which is kicking in and which is giving you the variety. Runtime polymorphism, instance of file printer. And I think now you'll understand without my explanation also. And here I'm saying the network printer. I don't have to import anything because all these classes and interfaces are in the same package. If you are in a different package, yes, upcasting. Runtime polymorphism, working on the copy of the object of the network printer. So tell me, are you understanding the important principle? Interface reference can directly refer to any implementation class instance. By the way, in this piece of code, are there any objects marked for garbage collection? Answer is yes. Tell me how many. Yeah, don't just say yes. The next question I'm going to ask is how many. So be clear. Of course, 2. Which 2 objects will be marked for garbage collection? Your console printers object. When I say console printer object, I'm not talking about java.lang object. I'm talking about its instance and the file printers instance. Because you know, reassigning and all that. So enjoy runtime polymorphism. So here, can you see this? So printing the first message on the console. So that should tell you that print method is picked up and it is working. It is picked up from the which class? Console printer. What does this tell you? When you reassign interface reference to your file printer, it is dynamically assigning it or taking it from the file printer class. And here, this should tell you that it is picking it up from the network printer. So I'll stay quiet for a minute. You look at the tester code and tell me, are you clear with this upcasting business? This upcasting business and this dynamic method dispatch. I'll wait here. Look at the code, and if something is not clear, Ahead of topic questions, don't ask. Unnecessarily, you yourself will get confused. Whatever I'm showing you, tell me whether it is clear or not. Yes, not analogy, Kunal. It is the same. Only thing is superclass reference was referring to subclass object. Here it is. I said that so many times that you are going to get the whole recap. It is exactly the same. Same is a relationship. But till earlier, we were experiencing it using what? Superclass and a subclass. So today it is, Kunal, between interface and the implementation class. So you are rightly saying that. There's no analogy and all. It is the same. Okay, you understood me? Yeah. So think about it. I'll just write something else. Is there any question? Extends is replaced by implements for the relationship. Yes. So let me write something and let's see whether you can understand. Just very recently, I've taken a similar example. So I hope you will give me the correct answer. Let's see. I hope it reminds you of the code which we just did earlier. Network printer. Let me type the whole code at least. And then you will, I was telling this one, Kunal, and you will understand that it is the same. Okay. So spend half a minute in looking at it, and I hope you are able to relate exactly. So I have a question here. When this line is executed, don't be in a hurry to answer. Take your time. How many how many objects in general will be created on the heap? You are very right in answering 4. So which 4, guys? First will be the array. Four objects, correct. I'm just splitting it. So what will be the first one? Folder. Folder means array. Array of class type of reference or interface type of reference? C or I? Interface type of reference. So one is the array. Holding means storing. Interface type of references. And which interface type you all know? Printable is the type of it, right? I'll just pull it here. So this is the first object. But it is initialized to all nulls. How many nulls? The size is 3. So 3 nulls. And then where will be that file printer instance created, object created? Within the array or outside the array? I must have asked you this question for 100 times. Of course, outside. And its reference is stored in that first array slot after length. So after that, so this array object is created and then it will create the file printer, FP for file printer, CP for class, not class pointer, console printer, and NP for network printer. Can you visualize? So I think I have a very similar diagram here. See this. Isn't it the same? This is you are now replaced. But now you draw the diagram. I have already drawn enough diagrams. When I say I'm not drawing and you are drawing, this is not to tell you any answer. This is to motivate you. Try out something, guys. So this will be printables. This CP length equal to 3. How many? Yeah, 3, right. And 0, 1, 2. And which class will be loaded? The interface array, that printable array class will get loaded. And when you say actually execute the whatever the rest of the part, 3 objects, file printer, console printer, and your network printer, and the references will get added into it. So tell me, guys, isn't it the repeat run? Isn't it the same? Whatever we discussed. Are you getting the what do you say, correspondence between the two. Okay, so now, so here, what is, why this is working? This is working thanks to upcasting. Interface reference can directly refer to any, be it a file printer, be it a console printer, be it a network printer. It can refer to any implementation class, right? And can I handle this in a what do you say, for each manner, or in a array style loop manner? Of course, yes. You can use for each, your choice. So here, when I say for each printable p in printables, what is the first assignment? P is equal to printables of 0. But what is printables of 0 containing? It's a copy. For each always works on a copy. So now, can you tell me, P is the reference pointing to which object for the first iteration? CP, FP, or NP? Of course, it is file printer. So here, again, what is getting fired? Fired as in kicking in, dynamic method dispatch. DMD is my short form for dynamic, nothing but your runtime polymorphism. I'm just using all the terms which people use in Java. Okay, so that is your dynamic method dispatch. So at the runtime, for the first iteration, whose print method will be called? Answer is obvious. File printer's print method will be called. For the second iteration, whose print method will be called naturally? The method will be invoked on the object of a console printer. And for the last iteration, network printer. See now you cannot argue that there is too much of a code to understand. Just couple of lines, 3-liner code. This one, and this one. But you can revisit the concept totally. So take a look at it and understand. So this is your output from that file printer, storing it in a file. This is your console printer's print method. And this is your network printer's print method. So tell me, as usual, is the output matching with your concepts? Are you understanding it in short? Clear completely? The last part and we'll stop. So tell me, when we talked about inheritance in superclass and subclass, what is the summary statement? Subclass is a superclass and something more. Everyone remembers it. And when I add something modified. So that modification I showed you via method overriding. And when I say something more, can a subclass add additional data members as well as additional functionality? Answer is yes. Somebody said no already. English problem looks like. Of course, subclass can add. See, here in the shape class, I had only X and Y. Could I add the radius here in the circle class? Yes. Could I add something like width and height additionally in your rectangle class? Answer is yes again. So likewise, of course, console printer, file printer, and network printer are printables. It's a relationship. But suppose, can I add additional functionality in the implementation class? Which is the functionality it has to implement is the abstract functionality. But can I add it additionally? Can I add additional functionality? Of course, yes. So for example, I'll just take a realistic sounding one, but actual one will not implement. So here, network printer, if you open, see all three classes had to implement print method. So of course, there is a print method. Okay, whatever implementation. In addition to that, when I want to send the data, I want to encrypt it first. Because see, today is a world of insecure things and viruses and intruder attacks and security attacks and all that. So when client is sending the request data to server, I would like to encrypt it and server response also. So that is where I'm saying encrypt. So I'm adding the encryption, decryption, whatever. So encrypt the message or encrypt it or something. In short, don't go by this. I'm not going to show you actual encryption. That you will have when you learn Spring Security with me. Okay, so can an implementation class additionally or add more functionality? 100% yes. Understood or not understood? Don't get off track by encryption. Just focus on the important point today. So here is your example. So here I'm saying network printer and I'm saying encrypt the data. So here, so let's say public, I am keeping the whole thing is easy. Encrypt request, encrypt data, something. And here, whatever data I give this. So let's say currently I don't have this. Okay. So I'll just have a message and I'll just add a SOP to indicate encrypting. The message. And here, currently it is all clear text. Later we'll apply encryption and all that. So question is, not worry about how you're going to encrypt it. That will come later. But question being asked is this the inherited method or is it its newly added method? I for inherited, new for N for new. Of course that. So what will happen if I add the at override annotation? 100% compiler error. Everyone gets it? Why? Because there's nothing, you are not overriding, you are not implementing from super type. So how can you add override annotation? So I'll keep it under comment. When you are revising, please uncomment. Okay, so this is done. So now let me write last part of the today's this tester 3. And because I have to show you how it is same. So this code I have copied as it is. And now observe and conclude what I'm doing. Okay. I think I hope you are guessing it already. So if I write, wait a second, what is that method name? Encrypt data. So if I say p dot encrypt data, message to be coded as an encrypted. After adding the semicolon, compile time error or no error? Will there be a compile time error? 100% there would be an error. Why? Because saying for the 50th time, compiler goes by what? Type of the reference or type of the object? Type of the reference. People have dropped. I can see only 205 participants. So those who have already dropped, help them, explain them whatever they missed. Okay, so what is the type of pre? It is a printable. So here, where will your compiler go? Compiler will go into your printable interface. And if you don't trust me and you shouldn't, just take the cursor here and you will see the method encrypt data is undefined for the type printable. So is there any way to tell compiler that don't look into printable, but look it elsewhere? So I have spent so much time in revision, 1.5 hours we spent. I wouldn't say best. I hope we invested. I mean, after that revision, I hope you got clearer. Of course, the solution is if you have a super type, I did not say super class, I said super type, which could be super class or an interface. Trying to refer to some additional functionality in the subtype, then you definitely require the typecasting. So anyone wants to tell me what should be the typecasting I should use? What should be the cast? Tell me. You can write in short forms. What downcasting, what typecast you want me? Console printer. Guys, where have I added the method? In the network printer. So your console printer is unfortunately a wrong answer. You will still get a compiler error. Okay. So here, what is the type of P? Printable. But what is the type of this entire highlighted stuff for the compiler? Network printer. In short, where it is going to look for this encrypt data method? In a printable interface or in console, network printer, NP or printable network printer. And the last but one, there are two more things. So there is no compiler error. So can you tell me when I run this code, will it work or will it fail? Fail as in runtime error or no runtime error? Of course, you're saying work. Guys, you've forgotten everything. Of course, there is going to be a runtime error. Which runtime error, guys? Class cast exception. Are you understanding? and I'll just rearrange. Okay, guys. So that I can ask you. So here I have rearranged my array. So tell me, will you get it for the first iteration of the loop? No. Will you get it for, because why? Because network, you have a network printer. Network printer is a network printer. There's no illegal casting. Will you get it for the second, what is it called? Iteration of the loop? 100% yes. And code will be aborted. Confirm. So see this. This is your, what is it? Network printer. So it is sending some message from client to server. Encrypting the message, and here you are passing the message to be coded. Great. Now it goes to the next iteration. So here storing some message in the file, that is your file printer. And the moment control comes to this line, you get your famous, popular, already known class cast exception. And it tells you so clearly, you just have to be patient. It is telling you that file printer cannot be cast to a network printer because file printer is not a network printer. Understood the error message? Because some of you said it will be a working solution. Wrong answer, Rohit. You are still wrong. So here, what is it I have to do? Rohit is suggesting me null checking. Is it the null checking I require or is it something else? Instance of checking. There's no null checking. There are no null values. All three references are filled up. So don't say null checking. So here, before doing the downcasting, to check RTTI, runtime type information, which is the keyword same keyword is applicable. It is a back-to-back revision of all inheritance and polymorphism. So what should I say? If P instance of, what should be on the right-hand side? What is it we are downcasting it to? Network printer. So the type comes to the right-hand side. So if P is the instance of network printer, then go ahead and encrypt the data. Else branch, you can say, doesn't supply encryption or cannot encrypt, invalid or whatever. So cannot encrypt the data because file printer and console printer are not capable of it. Cannot encrypt the data. So this is where we are stopping. I'm just asking you what will be the output. So for the first iteration of the loop, is it going to encrypt the data or can it not encrypt the data? Line number 12 or line number 14? Answer is, of course, it will encrypt the data. But when you come to the second iteration, is file printer the network printer? Does it have the encryption API? No. So you'll come to else branch where it says cannot encrypt, and same will be true for the third one. So take a look at this. So for network printer, yes, encryption is facilitated, encryption is available, so works. This is for your file printer, which is unable to encrypt the data, and so is your console printer. So just, I am stopping here, so such a less crowd. So here, exactly identical concepts you had seen earlier with superclass reference and subclass object. I just showed you the interface version of it, saying interface reference and implementation class. So that will be all for this session. Before I join the lab, I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, like what all you have to revise. You know what you have to revise. First, the abstraction using abstract classes, and the same thing with interfaces. And then I'll be back in the lab, and then I'll discuss some assignments for you. That will be all. See you in the labs.